Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, brothers and sisters in Islam. Welcome to yet another live stream of my channel, the Muslim Apologist, and I'm your host, MENJ. Okay, please don't call me Menj. It's MENJ, right? So today I'm going to have a review or reaction somewhat to this moron, this psychopath David Wood, who bludgeoned his daddy with a hammer, and his comments on our newest brother to Islam, Andrew Tate. Okay, frankly, I don't think that our brother Andrew Tate gives a fuck about what David Wood has to say about him. But regardless, I think it would be a fun endeavor, a fun exercise to react to David Wood's silly comments. By the way, I don't know why the hell he's appearing again on YouTube. I thought he has buzzed off, but apparently he's back. Okay, but anyway, joining me in this reaction is our brother Islamic colleague. So Assalamualaikum, brother.
Walaikum assalam, bro. How are you?
I'm good, Alhamdulillah. I'm actually very excited to be with you today.
Yeah. I mean, we just finished another stream, so it should be good
Exactly.
because this time we're actually addressing actual scumbag.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly,
say what you
exactly.
will
Yes.
about Peterson. I mean, like at least he's like polite, but
He's at
now
least he's
we're in the
a bit
scumbag
more
territory.
sophisticated. Yeah. He's at least he's more sophisticated than
Yeah,
this scumbag, right? As you aptly put. Okay.
yeah,
So So before we begin, of course, as usual, cue in intro. All right. Okay.
yeah.
Yep, and we are back again. Alhamdulillah. So okay, before we continue, maybe you want to share your thoughts about this reversion of our brother Andrew Tate. Maybe you would like to give some your thoughts
Yeah,
on it.
I mean, the first time I was introduced to Brother Andrew Tate was quite a while back. I wasn't really
Okay.
sure what to think of it because I saw that he was very vulgar, to be honest. And
You mean like me?
mo- oh, I mean, you're not that vulgar, to be honest. But yeah, he was very vulgar, but like he did make some like good points in regards to
Yes,
feminism and
yes,
whatnot.
yes.
So
Exactly.
from that point of view, I kind of understood like his appeal, and I know that he's very
Yes.
famous or becoming very famous very
He's
quickly,
very blunt. That's one thing I noticed
very
about him. He's
blunt,
very
and
blunt
he got
about
in
telling the
he
truth
got
about the truth.
he,
Yeah.
yeah, he got into the nerves of a lot of kind of like feminists and a
Not
lot of
surprising.
liberals.
Not
And the
surprising.
thing is, he was kicked off, completely kicked out
Social media.
of social media
Yes.
for doing absolutely
Exactly.
nothing.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and then you have people like Little Nas, and shaking his Dumbo Jumbo with like the Satan, and music videos of Nicki Minaj doing all kinds of like fancy, respectable things on YouTube. But of course, Andrew Tate was kicked out. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Poor
that's how
people,
I
right?
was
Yeah.
introduced. But then later on, I learned that he embraced Islam, Alhamdulillah.
Yes. Yes. It's
And
good.
so whatever
Alhamdulillah.
he did in the past, it doesn't really matter to me.
No, as far as I'm concerned, once he has, professed his Shahada,
Yeah,
all the sins of his past are wiped clean. Okay, he's like a newborn baby. He's a
yeah,
new Muslim, and he has no sin upon him now. Okay, it's a total new. He's much more cleaner than either of us. Okay, to be honest,
yeah,
okay, because he recited the Shahada, he's already a Muslim, and
yeah.
he has seen kufur. Okay, and he rejected kufur. In fact, if you watch one of his interviews with this I think it was Adin Rose. Okay, Adin Ross.
Hmm.
Adin Ross is this Jewish Twitch streamer. Okay, so he had a live stream with Andrew Tate, and Andrew Tate was actually lambasting Adin Ross. He was saying, oh, if I want to go to your place, I could, I don't want to lead the life anymore. I don't want to, go to
Hmm.
discos, meet the girls, bang the girls, drink
Hmm.
alcohol, etc. I don't like this life anymore, Edit. He said that directly. And he actually
Hmm.
made da'wah. I saw him making da'wah for the first time, okay,
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
Edin Ross, okay,
Yeah,
he's a Jewish guy, okay.
yeah,
So it's very interesting to see how he has changed. If you look at his previous videos, the one before he embraced Islam,
yeah. Hmm.
and this recent one involving Adin Ross, you could see the difference. He has changed
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot. Of course, he still has the vocabulary like me. So, oh, by the way, just a warning to the viewers: I'm really going to drop a lot of f-bombs, and I don't care. Okay.
Yeah, I
this is
mean,
my stream.
yeah, I mean, you can probably like edit it out later on, because if there's like too much, it can
I don't know.
demonetize the video.
If it's too much, I will of course edit it out, right? But I'm not shy from dropping.
You know what? You should be creative when you edit it out. Put like something David Wood says that is extremely stupid over that. It will create like a funny effect.
I'll see. I'll see what I can do about it. Okay, so let's begin with this stream. Okay, he actually made 3 reaction videos to Andrew Tate's reversion.
Look at this. Look at this disgusting.
Look at this disgusting loser. Okay. Oh, he removed his origami box and his mark. Yeah, I don't know why he did that.
Yeah, I don't know.
He did some changes to his. He did some changes to his.
I think he's trying to come across as a serious philosopher.
Yeah, I think he's rebranding himself, because previously he comes across as this vulgar anti-Islam moron, but now he's trying to change his view. So not change his view. He's trying to change his outlook. He's trying to change his presentation. So he has removed all this. Maybe some people has advised him not to do it. So he's probably has done that. But I mean, an Islamophobe will always be an Islamophobe, regardless how you change your colors. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's continue with this, and let's begin.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
You want for Christmas this year is.
By the way, can you speed it up? I don't want to listen to this comeback like 20 minutes. Speed it up.
All right. Of course. I'll probably put at 175. I think if I put at 2, it'll be too fast.
Okay? Yeah. Okay. No problem.
To Santa Claus. His name is Andrew Tate. Tater Claus skyrocketed in popularity in recent months by helping his fans through some difficult times. See, young men are getting mixed signals these days. On the one hand, they're being told to respect women and not to objectify women and to help bring down the patriarchy. On the other hand, they're being bombarded by videos where women brag about being whores who can get men to buy them stuff in exchange for access to their super wet vajayjays.
Yeah,
pretty confusing. Everywhere these guys.
Sorry?
You're gonna need to blur that out.
Yeah, I probably will.
W's in the house.
Yeah.
He gonna get copyright strike and I don't know.
I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah. No. You're probably going to get copyright strike because he's. Right. I think I'm not sure. Like he's not on YouTube, so I think this channel is someone else's.
Yes, that's right. So never mind. Anyway, let's continue. All right.
Let's continue.
Guys turn, they see a bunch of rear ends twerking in their faces. But don't look and don't like it, or you're pure evil. Okay, I won't look. Shame on you for not looking. Women shaking their derrieres in your face while bragging about being whores is empowering to women. It's liberating. So you're evil if you ignore them and don't support their bootylicious badonkadonks. Okay, I'll look at them. How dare you? How dare you stare at those big round buns bouncing up and down? Shame on you for objectifying that woman who's shaking that thing right in your face. Okay, it seems like I'm evil no matter what I do. This woman is literally calling herself a whore. If I agree with her, then I'm calling her a whore too, which means I'm bad. If I don't agree with her, then I'm not supporting her empowerment, which means I'm bad. I don't.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, right. So you'll see that he's clearly kind of like trying to please the right-wing Christian conservative kind of fundamentalists by saying that, Andrew Tate, he's like kind of really a young man, right?
Yeah.
Because the men are confused, So first he starts by, please saying nice things to the Christian conservatives, and then he's gonna start saying his nonsense and attack Andrew Tate because he needs to get his Andrew Tate fans, Christian Andrew Tate fans, on his side, right?
Exactly.
So that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Okay, let's continue. All right.
Yeah. I know what I'm supposed to do here, and it's like this with all kinds of things. If I hold the door for you, I'm supporting the patriarchy. If I don't hold the door for you, I'm a scumbag. Do I open the spaghetti sauce jar for you, or is that sexist? Do I squish the spider?
It doesn't matter whether you hold the door or not, David Wood. You're still a scumbag. That doesn't change.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue. Right.
Yeah.
Or is that sexist? Do I tell you to hold my jacket while I punch this guy in the mouth for disrespecting you, or do I leave my jacket on and get this guy's blood all over me? Have you seen these videos where a woman is getting attacked on a train and guys are just standing around like they're paralyzed because they have no idea what they're supposed to do anymore? Young men are confused.
It's just confusing. Is it sexist to hit you? Is it more sexist to not hit you? I mean, the line is real blurry.
So what do these confused, directionless young men do? For a while, they turned to Jordan Peterson. But their anger and confusion and resentment kept growing. So now they're turning to Andrew Tate, who's basically a younger, dumber version of Jordan Peterson if Jordan Peterson had become an abusive pimp instead of a psychologist. In 2016, Andrew Tate was kicked.
Oh,
By the way-
what is his problem with Andrew? With Jordan Peterson anyway?
By the way, did you notice what he said? What he said?
Yeah.
So he
yeah.
calls Andrew Tate like a pimp, right?
Yeah,
For what
yeah.
exactly?
Yeah, he said that Andrew Tate is a younger version of a pimp like Jordan
No.
Peterson.
He's
actually
saying
calling
he's
both of
a
them
dumber
something
version
like
of Jordan Peterson,
that.
and he's a
something like
pimp,
that. Yeah.
right? Which is
And he's a pimp.
interesting
Yeah.
because in Christianity, don't they have like pimps? I mean, like I remember one story where one father, I can't remember exactly. Maybe you can remind me. One
Okay.
father has sex with his like daughter-in-law. And,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
you remember this story?
Not exactly. Maybe you can continue. Yeah.
And then Lot has incest with his daughter, right?
Yes. That's
So
true.
you have stories of incest, and then you have stories of clearly.
I mean, you can just read Ezekiel 23, where it talks about gangbangs. Okay, it's basically talking about the women of Israel having gangbangs with the armies.
By the
of
way,
Egypt.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay?
I find it funny that David Wood is complaining about people shaking their vjjs, and yet that's exactly what you read in the Bible.
Exactly. There's a lot of those stories in the Bible. Really.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
So
if you want to talk about glorification of the women parts, there's a lot of it in the Bible. That is why the West.
So if he has a problem with like
tendency
or with like Andrew Tate in the past, like pimping, quote unquote pimping, then he shouldn't. He should ban the Bible. He should throw out the Bible.
Yes. And you have to keep in mind that before his reversion to Islam, Andrew Tate professes himself to be a practicing Christian. So he was actually a Christian. So so if Andrew Tate was pimping, it means that Andrew Tate was simply following the Christian allowances. Okay.
And also, David was talking about brother Andrew Tate. I mean, like, what did he do in the past? We remember a certain incident with a hammer.
Yeah.
We
Oh
remember
yes, of
him-
course. Let's not
his
forget the hammer.
incident with like going to jail.
Bringing up the past isn't going to be good for you, David, because you have a nasty past as well. Okay, so if you want to talk about past, you should look at yours first, okay, before talking about others. Okay, so basically, it's like what Jesus said in the Gospels. Okay, do not point out the log in your brother's eye. Sorry, do not point out the splinter or something in your brother's eye. In your brother's eye, while you forget about the log in your own eye. Okay.
Yeah.
So meaning that the problems of your brother or just someone else besides you, you shouldn't be pointing that out if you yourself have problems to begin with. Okay. That's basically what Jesus said. Okay. So he's not following his own Bible.
Yeah.
He's not following Jesus' words. Okay.
Yeah. Let's continue, inshallah.
All right. Okay. Let's continue.
Kicked off the UK version of the reality show Big Brother for a video that showed him lashing a woman with a belt, and another video where he told a woman to count the bruises he'd given her.
By the way, can you
Although, in his
pause?
defense, the violence was
Can you
consensual.
pause?
He was also in
So this whole thing with like him, quote unquote, lashing was basically the woman actually asked him to do that. The woman asked him to do that. Now we see
It was actually consensual. It was actually consensual. It was an act. Okay, it was a show. Come on, it's a reality TV show, and the woman and Andrew Tate himself, both of them agreed to do. She agreed. She consented to this. So if he wants to bring that up, he's just being obtuse.
He's lying.
Because the woman had no problems with it. Okay.
Yeah. So another thing is that how's any of this relevant to like his conversion? Like what he did in the past, like it doesn't matter. Like
what he did in the past, whether he was pimping or whether he was, drinking alcohol or whether he was having sex with slaves or whatever, it doesn't matter. Because once he has reverted to Islam, all these sins are over for him.
Like for example, you know what's funny?
Simple.
If Andrew Tate like became like a religious Christian and left his lifestyle, these same people were praising him.
Exactly, they will be praising him. Yeah, that's right. So because he has become a Muslim, so idiots like him who beat his daddy with a hammer starts to condemn Andrew Tate. Okay, oh my God, I can't believe this. This guy was an ex-con. Okay, he went to prison for beating his daddy with a hammer. Okay, has Andrew Tate ever gone to prison? Let's ask that question. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Anyway,
So
let's
anyway,
continue,
Yes. All right. Yeah.
trouble for racist and homophobic posts on social media. For instance, he said in a tweet, "The racist lady on the train is right." In another tweet, he said, "If I wanted to see black people running, I'd just threaten them with jobs." After that, Mr. Tate started a webcam girl company, which he described as a total scam. He trained his webcam girls to give fake sob stories to the men who were watching them in order to get the men to send them more money. Tate also founded Hustlers University, an online platform that trains young men to be hustlers. The affiliate marketing program for Hustlers University was shut down after it was declared to be a pyramid scheme. But Mr. Tate continues training people to think like the Tate.
That is a lie, because Hustlers University, I've checked the website. It's still operational. Hustlers University is actually initiative by Tate to teach men how to make money from cryptocurrency, how to get involved into digital marketing, how to how to stand up for themselves, and how to do the things that Tate has learned in life and tries to teach to his audience. Okay. And it's still running. It's still operational. Like, unlike this liar here. This liar said that Hustlers University has been shut down, but no, it's not. It has not been shut down. You can actually still subscribe to it. Okay? I was thinking of actually subscribing to it. Okay? And because I wanted to know what exactly Tate is teaching. But what I can understand is that he's just teaching stuff which it's more of a motivational guide for young men, rather than being. I mean, I know the title says Hustlers University, but he's not teaching men to be hustlers. Okay. He's just teaching men how to behave, how to be a man, how to stand up for themselves. That's all. That's all what it is. Okay, and he's lying to his teeth and saying that Andrew Tate is teaching men to become hustlers. Okay, hustlers meaning like pimp. Okay, it's ridiculous. Okay, yeah.
So, I mean,
It's just lying.
even if, like, let's say for the sake of argument, he is teaching men to be hustlers. So what exactly? Like, I mean, is that against the Bible? Like, does the Bible like not say men to like do businesses or work hard to make money? Is that against biblical
Exactly.
teachings?
Exactly. I mean, this guy, this loser who
I mean,
cannot
didn't Jesus
yeah.
Jesus went into the temple and kicked a bunch of people out because they were like doing
Exactly.
business in the
They're
temple?
doing money lending. Yeah, they were doing money lending. Yeah. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He did. So this
So-
guy, this guy renegaded on his promise that he wanted to leave YouTube. But now, what is he doing on YouTube right now? See,
Exactly.
see, how can anyone trust this person after renegading on his promise to leave YouTube? I mean,
Yeah.
he swore to everyone that he's going to leave YouTube and he will never come back again. But there you are, he's here, live. I mean, not live, recorded, but at least 3 videos about Andrew Tate. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show how his word has no value. So anyway, let's continue this, all right?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of Jesus, I wonder if that is where he's getting his ideas from. I mean, does he think that what Jesus did was like right, and like people shouldn't make money in churches and whatnot? Is that what this is? Like, I mean, are you saying
I don't
that
know.
like
I don't know.
like
That's
what's
right.
the issue with like being a hustler exactly? I mean, you live in a capitalist country, so like you're clearly not a communist. So what's the issue here? I mean,
I have no
hustling
idea
comes
what
with
is
capitalism.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And this is the
Himself,
same guy that
Hustlers University.
defends secularism against Daniel.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, let's continue, all right?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Now, we shouldn't point too many fingers at Mr. Tate for taking advantage of confused young men. He saw an opportunity and he took it. This happens whenever there's a significant number of people who feel like they're being targeted or treated unfairly. Someone steps in to be their hero and champion, and the people rally around their new hero and champion. But the person is only able to step in as the hero because of some problem that hasn't been dealt with. We saw this with Black Lives Matter, talking about the organization, not the movement. For decades, a lot of people were saying that they had a problem with police. I don't mean a problem with police doing their jobs appropriately. I mean a problem with certain police officers using their badges to get away with harassing and abusing people. And the response to these claims of unfair treatment was, well, if you have a problem with cops, stop committing crimes, which didn't address the problem. So the problem wasn't dealt with. Then what happened? 3 young women stepped in and said that if everyone sends them money, they'll deal with the problem. So individuals and companies sent these young women tens of millions of dollars, which the 3 women spread around to their friends and family members and used to buy a lot of properties and to invest in the stock market. Horrible thing to do, but they were only able to do it because there was a problem that wasn't being dealt with.
I've never heard of this. To be honest, I don't know.
This is
what
the
this
dumbest analogy I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
I mean, like, does he think that this is that what's happening with like the Black Lives Matter movement is the same as what's happening with like feminists attacking men? how are they same? How are they even similar? Like the
They're not
Black Lives
similar.
Matter
I
movement is
honestly,
a,
I don't understand. I don't understand the analogy either. I mean, what is the relationship between these women who
no,
cheated men out of the money
it's a fallacious
versus?
analogy. I mean, like
Yes, it's
this
ridiculous.
analogy
Yeah,
doesn't prove anything. Like this has nothing to do with
exactly.
like he's describing like some kind of you know a discrimination based on race, and then he's
Yeah,
comparing
exactly.
that with like some
Yeah,
man's grievances with woman with
exactly.
gender. But it's not the same
Okay.
thing. And I think
Mhm.
he's trying to make the point that these guys they took money from them, and then they're wasting that money in name of their movement, and somehow Andrew Tate did the same, but there's no evidence for this. Andrew Tate never stole
Exactly.
money from anybody, so the
Exactly.
comparison doesn't make any sense. It's a faulty comparison.
Doesn't make any
It's a
sense to
faulty
me. Yeah,
comparison fallacy.
it's silly. It's
This guy's
silly.
supposed to be a PhD in philosophy.
I don't
Then
believe that for a second. I don't believe he ever had a degree. I mean, sorry, a doctorate. Even if assuming that he did, he probably bought it from a diploma mill. Okay, assuming
he
that
needs
he
to go
did.
to Hustlers University.
Yeah.
David, go to Hustlers University. Maybe Andrew.
I
can
hope he
teach
gets
you.
rejected. I hope he gets rejected and his money would not be returned. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
he's actually waffling because he needs money. That's why he made 3 videos on Andrew.
Yeah.
Brother Andrew Tate.
Exactly. So
He
obsessive.
needs
He's so
to hustle.
obsessive,
He needs to
our
go to
brother
Hustlers
Andrew.
University.
He's hustling for, he's so desperate. He's hustling for money that he has to use Andrew Tate's name in order to get money.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's accusing others of being hustlers. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, let's continue. All right.
Yeah.
So it is with Andrew Tate. Some young men aren't feeling good about the way things are going. They're feeling despised and rejected, lonely and depressed. That's when the Tater steps in and tells them that he can make them successful. He can show them how to be men. So the Tater has amassed a huge following of young men whom we can affectionately dub the Tater Tots. You can condemn the Tater all you want, but he's only there because there was a problem that wasn't being dealt with. He's just taking advantage of it and using it to make endless chunks of money. Might as well be him, because if he wasn't doing it, someone else would. So far, so good. But there's a plot twist. The Tater recently announced that he had converted to Islam. Now, there are reasons to be suspicious. This is a guy who has admitted to scamming people. This is a guy who has told his followers.
Admitted to scamming people. When has ever
Where?
Andrew Tate admitted to that? Why would you think that Andrew Tate is a scammer? He already has a lot of money. He doesn't need money anymore. Okay.
So he
was already
throws
super
a
rich
bunch
before
of
he
false
started hustling.
accusation against him
Yeah, it's
without any
exactly. It's
evidence
dumb.
whatsoever. And then
Exactly.
he's saying, "Oh, he's did all this, and now look at this.
Yeah,
He's now
yeah.
become a Muslim."
Exactly.
I
By the
mean-
way,
I mean, did you guys forget about
yeah.
Ravi Zakaria? And what happened
Oh
with that guy?
yes, I haven't forgotten about that. Oh, we haven't forgotten about Ravi Zacharias and his stealing of
His
other
sexual
people's money.
interests.
Yeah. Oh, we're very interesting sexual interests. Okay.
By the way,
yeah,
is Andrew Tate
plus,
anything
yeah.
like that? Does he have any history of like?
The thing is, okay, I need to clarify this
Yeah.
because Andrew Tate, before he started Hustlers University, he was already super rich. Okay, he was already earning money because he bought property, he invested in crypto, he invested in other business, even the webcam business. So he earned a lot of money because of those. Okay, and then he got so bored with life that he decided to start Hustlers University. But the point here is that the money that he already has was earned before Hustlers University was started. So why does he need more money? He doesn't need more money. He's already super rich even before starting Hustlers. So this guy, this moron here, he's confusing the chronology. Okay. So I mean, I hope Andrew Tate sees his video and sues him, okay, for libel. Okay. I think there's a lot of points here where Andrew Tate could go to court and sue this bastard. Okay, and he can win.
Oh, that would be
Andrew
amazing.
Win. Oh, that would be cool. You know what? Maybe I should send this link to Andrew Tate himself, and then I'll ask him to ask him whether he wants to sue this bastard for libel. Okay. He should. He should sue David Wood for libel. There's a lot of libel here. Okay. Yeah. Which he can go to court for. Okay. So anyway, let's continue.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Followers to stir up drama and controversy on social media in order to generate more attention. And there are some significant similarities between the Muslim community and his normal target audience. Muslim leaders are in a state of panic because what they call the avalanche of apostasy.
It's nonsense. This guy avalanche of apostasy. Everyone is apostatizing to Islam.
No.
Oh my God. Avalanche of apostasy. Oh my god.
How
This
many
guy
times
is-
have you heard this?
Oh, I heard this many times over from David Wood. Okay, he's
Oh
in
my
his
God.
drama. He's in his own bubble world, thinking that a lot of Muslims are living Islam in droves. You know, and yet, if you look at the latest statistics from Pew Research, Muslims are the second largest religion. Islam is the second largest religion in the world. Muslims are growing, and by 2050, which is just a mere 30 years away, Islam will be the largest religion in the world. So how is
Yeah.
this an avalanche of apostasy, David Wood? How is this possible? Okay, doesn't make any sense, right?
I mean, the avalanche is in his head because
Yeah,
like,
the avalanche is in his dreams, okay, because it's
Yeah.
not happening. It's not happening to Islam, it's happening to Christianity. Okay.
Yeah.
There is an avalanche of apostasy in
I mean, if
Christianity.
you just go
Yeah.
to Google and maybe you can show some of the articles, it's showing how like people are leaving Christianity. I mean, I think there's this atheist called Genetically Modified Skeptic who made a video on this, and he showed how even like the most kind of like even if no one did anything and no Muslim kind of like migrated to America, America would still lose a significant number of Christians every day because
Yes, right.
Christianity is clearly losing its influence in the West, in
Exactly.
America especially.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's not the fault of like Muslims. It's just people are not interested in this religion because it doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
It
Yes,
doesn't make
that's
sense.
right,
People
that's
don't
right.
follow it, and this is actually one of the reasons why Brother Tate left Christianity, and he will explain this.
Exactly. So
So-
anyway, let's play this and just finish this up where he talks about where he thinks this is proof of an avalanche of apostasy. Okay?
Avalanche.
Let's play this. Yeah, avalanche of apostasy. Okay. That's so funny.
By the way, he takes these
24%
clips completely
of
out of
Muslims-
context. He takes
Yes,
this completely out of context, out of this lecture of
Yes.
this scholars.
Yes.
He still
Yeah.
puts this because the
Let
scholars
me
are
listen.
talking
Yeah,
about
I
completely
haven't-
different topics.
Let me listen to it first, right? I haven't listened to this yet.
Muslim youth are leaving Islam.
Previously, according to me, when a person from Saudi Arabia or from the Gulf country went to America or went to Western country, the chances that they would deviate from the deen would be maybe 1 or 2%. That's it. But nowadays, the chances are more than 25%.
And if we don't take constructive steps to deal with this, it is going to become an avalanche.
What do people do when they're terrified
Again,
because
like
of an
where's the
emerging problem?
context? Like what context? are they
Yeah,
talking
he just takes small parts of it and then he thinks that he applies it to his own mind, and he thinks that this is an avalanche of apostasy. Everyone is living Islam. Oh, an avalanche.
I mean, like, there's like no context to any of those clips. And let's say, for the sake of argument, they are saying that, right? Let's give it to them. Let's give it to them. They're saying that. So what? Like who? Like who? Like are they like a social scientist? Like no offense to any of them. Of course, they're religious scholars. They're speaking from their own experience. That doesn't mean anything.
That's right.
That's not science.
Yes.
That's not study. That's not peer-reviewed study. Because peer-reviewed studies show
exactly.
Muslims are growing in number. Islam is the fastest growing religion.
Exactly.
That's the study.
Exactly. That's the fact. Yeah, that's the fact. Islam has been the fastest growing religion ever since 2000s. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Of
he has
course.
never
Of course.
stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, this is not to say that people are not kind of like leaving the religion and like there's no
Yeah,
kind
we
of
have
secularization.
people like Apusi. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We have people like
But then
Apusi
again,
living Islam and
who are
good.
living exactly?
Good.
It's people like Apus.
Yeah, people. Yeah,
We're
people
glad
are
they live.
losers. I mean, I'm happy that idiots like Apusi left. Okay, he can leave all he wants. We don't need idiots like him to be part of the Muslim. I wouldn't want to be in the same room with him, accepting him as a Muslim. I will never do that. Okay, he's such a moron. Okay, I will never accept him as that. Okay, it's good that he left Islam. Actually, okay? Better for the team.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
Islam doesn't need. You see, the thing is about Islam is that Islam doesn't need us, but we need Islam. Okay, that's the point. Okay, even let's say tomorrow, let's say for some reason, na'udzubillah min zalik, let's say Andrew Tate leaves Islam. So what? Who cares? I don't care. If he decided, who knows? Maybe tomorrow he says, "Oh, I don't want to be a Muslim anymore. I want to leave Islam." Go ahead, by all means. We don't care. Okay, because Islam can survive without Andrew Tate, but Andrew Tate needs Islam. Okay, that's the point. Okay, yeah. So, let's continue with this. Right? Okay, because you see, David Wood doesn't understand this simple fact that Islam doesn't care whether you apostatize or not. Okay, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's
Also, there's no like avalanche. If anything, there's the avalanche of like Christians.
no, there is an avalanche. There is an avalanche of Christians leaving Christianity. Yes. Yeah, there is an avalanche, but it's not Islam, it's Christianity. Okay. Okay, let's continue. Yeah.
Yeah.
They rally around a hero or champion who promises to deal with the problem for them. This is why so many dawagandists suddenly became so popular. The Muslim world is in a state of panic over the avalanche of apostasy, and Muslims think that dawah can save their children. Pretty much anyone on the planet who wants to take advantage of the Muslim community right now can get away with it. If you're a Muslim, you just tell them that you're going to rescue their kids from apostasy using the power of dawah. If you're a non-Muslim, you can just announce that you've converted to Islam. You can make up absolutely any reason whatsoever, no matter how ridiculous. Whatever you say, as long as it supposedly convinced you that Islam is true, they'll believe it. And they'll make you the new poster boy or poster girl for their religion. You'll be showered with praise and fame and money. So when someone like Andrew,
You mean like how you make a pussy?
By the way,
poster
just to
boy
just to
taking
refute
Islam?
his point before he even like speaks on
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Right.
So
right.
basically, he's saying that Andrew Tate is saying some ridiculous things to justify
Okay.
his conversion. But the thing is that if you look at the clips, Andrew Tate didn't even mention what was the exact reason why he converted. I mean, he mentioned some things, right, that led to him like leaving Christianity, but he didn't say these are the exact reason why he, embraced
Yeah.
Islam.
It's actually a
Obviously,
combination
because
of-
if you listen to like his description of some of the things he said on Twitter, or like some of the brothers
Yeah.
have talked to him, said that
Yeah.
he had many questions about Islam, and he talked. Obviously, it's not just the case that he thinks that some of the reasons he mentions here are the reasons he left Christianity. There are more, and
Yeah.
obviously, Islam as a message on its own obviously has an impact on him.
Yes. that's
So-
right. Yes.
So again, none of this is him explaining why he, left Christianity exactly. So this is already a misrepresentation. But I think we'll see this as it continues. Sure.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. Let's continue.
Andrew Tate gets banned from a bunch of social media platforms and then suddenly announces his conversion to Islam, we can't help but wonder if this is part of some scheme. But we'll take the Tater at his word and assume that he's sincere. After all, if his conversion were just a scheme, it would be a pretty dangerous one because Muhammad ordered his followers to execute apostates. We'll give the Tater the benefit of the doubt and assume
So does
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Bible.
Yeah, so does
Read
the Bible.
Deuteronomy. Read Deuteronomy.
13.
Read
Yeah,
Thomas
Deuteronomy
Aquinas.
13. Yeah, he should read Deuteronomy 13. My God, this guy. Oh, my God. He doesn't read his own Bible. Okay, he doesn't read his own Bible. Okay, let's continue. Right.
that he's telling the truth. So why did a webcam pimp and professor at Hustlers University convert to Islam? Well, he tells us in his interview with part-time stripper Muhammad Hijab. On a side note, since Hijab likes stripping so much, maybe the Tater can get him a webcam job.
Then he calls like Brother Hijab a stripper. on this clip.
Yeah, he takes it out of context as usual. This is one of the protests that Brother Hijab did right in front of the Chinese embassy, protesting about the oppression of the Uyghurs. So he was protesting on the streets, and he took off his shirt in protest.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Westerners has done a lot more worse when they protest. Okay?
I mean,
I've
just
seen
go to like
protesters-
any of the kind of like any of the festivals, Hindu festivals in India.
Yes.
You'll see
Yes.
naked people there. I'm not even
Yes.
kidding. You'll see naked
Yes, I
people.
mean, in the context of protesters protesting in demonstrations, I've seen clips of naked women walking on the street in the Western world. Okay, when they protest against certain things, certain issues, like for example, protesting against abortion or something like that.
Also, like
Then
there are videos of Christians from
those
Baptist
pro-abortion.
Southern.
Yeah.
So there are videos of Christians of Southern Baptist Church going to different areas with placards that say that God hates F words, right?
Yeah.
And other kind of thing. And there are even cases where they went around and burned the Quran and do all these other kind of crazy things. But of course, David Wood is fine with that. I mean, like you can burn the Quran clearly.
He was fine
But you
with that
cannot
because he's
gonna take off your shirt because he's intimidated by
by Hijab's abs, his wonderful abs, six pack. Yeah, we know that David Wood is just a one pack. So so I think it's obvious that Hijab has a 6-pack or 8-pack, right? Okay. So anyway, let's continue this.
Looks like we found the Cardi B of Muslim dawagandists. But let's hear from the Tater.
Well, I think a lot of people who've been following me for a while understand I've been very respectful of Islam for a long time.
By the way,
I was
can
born in
you
a Christian country. I was
pause?
raised.
How is that relevant to anything?
I don't know. He was just trying to make fun, I guess. Fun of Brother Hijab. Yeah, he's just being an asshole like usual. Okay, nothing.
Also, didn't this guy dress up like a woman?
Yeah, he did. He did. He did. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And now he's complaining because he took off his
He's
shirt.
complaining because Andrew Tate is trying to teach people to be more masculine. Yeah, of course. Yeah, right,
Of
David.
course, and
right.
now we know the real problem.
Yeah, now we know the real reason. Because
He's a cross-dresser.
jealous. Yeah, he's jealous that Andrew Tate is teaching men to behave more like men, whereas he has an agenda of trying to feminize men by dressing up like a woman. Okay, so that's the real reason. Okay, that's the real reason why David Wood is jealous of Andrew Tate. Okay,
Yeah.
so anyway, let's continue. Yeah.
He's as a Christian, and I've always been very respectful of Islam, and it's become more and more obvious to me and more pertinent that Islam is the last religion on the planet.
Islam is the last religion on the planet.
Yeah.
There are nearly 8 billion people in the world, but only one religion remains, according to world-renowned sociologist Andrew Tate. Remember when I said that you can give any reason, no matter how
By the way,
ridiculous?
this is a straw man.
Actually, yeah.
Where did he
actually,
say that?
Yeah. No, he did. He did.
Where
say
did he say that?
but
No.
No, I mean,
Look at what like David Wood said. He said that. He's
Okay.
very specific. He said that. Can you go back a little bit? Because I'm
Okay.
gonna catch
Go
him
back.
exactly when he's saying this.
Okay, all right,
Little
right.
More and more obvious to me and more pertinent that Islam is the last religion on the planet.
Yeah.
Islam is the last religion on the planet. There are nearly 8 billion people in the world, but only one religion remains, according to world-renowned
Pause.
sociologist Andrew
Pause.
Tate.
Pause.
Only one religion,
So he said that
yeah.
Islam is the only religion that remains. Tate never said
Yes.
that.
They never say this. Yeah, they actually explain.
Tate never said
why
that
he
Islam is
said
the only
Islam-
religion in the world.
No. What I mean is, Tate did explain why he said that Islam is the is the last religion according to him
Yeah.
in the world. Because
Yeah.
because he said that all other religions, they don't obey their own laws. Okay, like for example, Christianity. You can do whatever you want. You can drink whatever you want. You can act however you want, even though the Bible says not to do certain things. Okay, and then the Christians. He actually mentions this in one of his interviews. He said that if Christians, they want people to embrace their religion. Therefore, they said, okay, let's relax the rules. Okay, Christianity doesn't allow for apostasy. Christianity doesn't allow for zina. Christianity doesn't allow for other things, other deviant things. But the Christian leaders, they allow this anyway because they want to get people to join Christianity to relax the laws. Therefore, according to Andrew Tate, Christianity has lost its values. Okay, that's why he says. In fact, maybe you will listen. I don't know whether David will play this, but if you watch that particular video with Brother Hijab, Andrew Tate actually says that because of this, Islam is actually the last religion on earth because we Muslims, we still practice our religion, we still obey the laws of the Quran. Anything that the Quran says that we can do, we do. Anything that Quran says we cannot do, we don't do. Okay, very much unlike Christianity and Judaism or whatever religion there is out there. That is what Andrew Tate means by Islam being the last religion on earth. But this moron here, he takes it out of context. Okay.
Now, to be fair, so basically, what like this psycho is saying is that he's saying that Islam is the last religion on earth, but he never said that. This is the first time he's going to misrepresent him. But let's continue. I'm going to show more.
Yes. Let's continue. Right. Yeah.
Remember when I said that you can give any reason, no matter how ridiculous, for converting, and the Muslim community will believe you? Announcing that you converted because Islam is the only religion left is Exhibit A. Saying that Christianity doesn't exist, that
Never
Judaism
said that.
doesn't exist, that Hinduism doesn't exist is
No, he never said this.
said
He never
that.
said this.
Never said
No, he
that.
never said this. No, he never said this. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
so utterly moronic that there's only one place in the world you could get away with saying it, and that's in an interview with someone like part-time stripper and future webcam boy Mohammed Hijab. But let's pretend.
So look at how he inserts that webcam stripper and part-time webcam.
He's still upset about the debate, man.
He's still butthurt about the
He's
debate.
still
The
clearly
drubbing
not
that
over
Hijab
hijab.
gave him.
Absolutely
He's still
destroying
not
him.
over hijab. I'm sorry, David. Did your childhood crush got the better of you? did hijab rejected your advances to him? Too bad, man. I feel sorry for you, dude.
He found in a post what he couldn't found in hijab.
Yes, best buddies going on a road trip together. Okay, sleeping, cohabiting together in the same room, perhaps. Who knows?
Actually, you know what, Aki? Take that out. Take that part out when you were editing this.
Okay, right. Yeah, right. No worries. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's continue. Right.
Sure.
Pretend that Tate's claim isn't the most idiotic thing anyone has ever said, and we'll try to figure out what he means.
What does Christian mean? Like, who's not a Christian? You go to Christian nations and everyone says they're a Christian. Look how they live their lives. Go into the average church. Is anyone actually fearful of God? Anybody? No. The girls are out on Saturday night drinking and they turn up to church because their parents made them.
Now, this is interesting. This sounds like a common Islamic caricature of Christian churches. And notice Hijab sitting there agreeing with everything the Tater says. Churches are filled with sluts. And all they do is sit around getting drunk and high and banging a bunch of guys. And then they go to church.
That is not what Andrew Tate says. This is just his assumption.
He's talking about fear of God. Fear of
Yeah, he's
God.
talking about fear of
Like,
God.
clearly
In fact,
you
if
live in
watch
a
the-
country that doesn't have theocracy, right?
Yeah,
If
I
you
mean,
really
he's
fear
talking
God,
about it because I've watched previous interviews of him talking about Christianity. He says that, I mean, Andrew Tate says that whenever he goes into churches, he sees the people there, but they are not fearful of God. They just go there because their parents tell them to. Okay, that's pretty much. And then he doesn't see any piety among the parishioners. That's basically what Andrew Tate is saying. But as usual, David Wu, he takes it out of context and he talks about something else, totally something different. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so we
basically,
continue.
another thing to add to this,
Yeah,
like
go ahead.
the thing is that if you look at like the Western worlds, they're clearly not theocentric. Like they are clearly not theocentric, and that's
Exactly.
exactly why you have people like Jordan Peterson, coming into the fold, because these people, the Christians and some of these seculars, they're clearly seeing there's a problem with the left.
Yeah,
And the
exactly.
reason there's a problem to begin with is because they have rejected Christian teachings. They clearly rejected it. And as a result of this, you're seeing all these problems popping up. So when Andrew Tate is talking about is that the fear of God that used to exist, right? It doesn't exist. But if you go to countries like, Saudi Arabia or like Qatar, that still has, Sharia law. It still has those rulings.
Yeah. Exactly.
You clearly see people fearing God and obeying God. And even in my country, even in Bangladesh, every Friday, the mosques are full. Mosques
Exactly.
are full. Is that the
Really.
case in
So,
the churches? No, most of the
Exactly.
churches are empty now.
Yes,
People are leaving the churches.
Yeah, avalanche of apostasy, my foot. Avalanche of apostasy. Let's not forget, he says that there's an avalanche of apostasy.
Yeah.
So
Because the
where's
thing is
where's
that
the avalanche of it? Yeah, where's the avalanche?
the thing is that what Andrew Tate is talking about is that in terms of culture, Christianity has clearly lost the war. It has clearly lost the war. Where if you look at the Muslims still strongly hold on to this identity. But now that doesn't mean there cannot be exceptions. But in general, the Muslim world is extremely vocal. Like, look at what happened in Salman Rushdie, right? This some idiot insulted the Prophet, and entire Muslim world went up in flames.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, is that something that will ever happen if Jesus?
This is what Andrew Tate admires about the Muslim world and the Muslims.
Yeah, and is this something that will happen if Jesus is insulted? No. I mean, if
No,
anything,
probably
Hatun Tash will bring cartoons of Jesus and show that to the camera. That's the difference.
Yeah,
that's what he's talking about.
Exactly. And this guy took it out of context, as usual. Right? Okay, so anyway, let's continue.
Yeah.
My church isn't like that at all. My last church wasn't like that at all. My church before that wasn't like that at all. Maybe there are churches like that, but I've never been to one. And yet, according
again, he didn't say that they're like all Christians are like that, like everyone is like that. But you see a general trend. Like if you look at the studies, you'll see that people are leaving churches.
Right? Yeah. Avalanche of apostasy in Christianity.
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay,
Let me see if I can find some articles.
Okay, well, you're finding some articles. Let me continue with this, right?
to the webcam king and his new part-time stripper bestie, it's okay to completely generalize churches in this way. You Muslims who are watching, let me ask you this. If you were watching an interview between a Christian preacher and a former Muslim who had just converted to Christianity, and the former Muslim said, I left Islam because Christianity is the only religion left in the world. Islam is dead because the mosques are filled with terrorists. All they do in mosques is sit around learning to build bombs and plotting the next attack. It's all they do there. If you saw that, would you think that the former Muslim had any integrity whatsoever?
I would think that the ex-Muslim is a liar, and I wouldn't give a shit about what he says, and I wouldn't even publicize it. That's what I would do. What about you, brother? What would you do?
Okay, so I think I found a study here.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Let us see the avalanche of apostasy in the Christian world.
Yeah, hold on.
Take your time. Don't worry.
Can you see it?
Not yet. Okay, I can see it now. Okay, let me
Okay,
switch
so
to
it
this.
says that Lifeway research found 66% of charge-going teenagers drop out for at least a year between the ages 18 to 22. A recent Lifeway research survey of both pastors and Americans indicate many pre-COVID parishioners are still missing from the pews.
Okay, that's interesting.
So
interesting.
Clearly, this is one
Avalanche of
study.
apostasy.
Yeah, this is one study. This is just let's look at the study.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is just one study, and there are more.
All right.
Hold on, let me. Okay, here we go. There's one.
Go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Let me show you. Here it's.
Right. Okay.
Okay, this is another article that says Americans chart statistics. The latest statistics indicate there's a trend among the more illuminated figures are Americans' membership among all religious houses of worship fell below 50% for the first time in 80% years. Gallup has been keeping data. Among the demographics, almost 20% fewer people attend church in 2020 than
Avalanche of
2000.
apostasy in the Christian world.
1/3 fewer Americans attend churches now than in 1993.
Yeah,
Only
Christianity is
36,
dead. Yeah.
only 36 of Christians attend churches at least once a week. But just to think
Okay.
about it, just once a week, only
Once a week.
36%.
Yeah.
More
And
and
only
more
36%
Christians
does it.
post-pandemic are staying home.
Yes.
Electing to not attend church or watching services online. So they're like
My
watching
God.
at home Netflix. They're watching Netflix,
Yeah,
instead
Netflix.
of
Netflix.
yeah.
They prefer to just watch other people going to the church rather than they themselves going to the church, right?
Yeah. So yeah, let me see.
Any more research? Please share it. I'll probably edit this as part of a separate video. I'll title it Avalanche of Apostasy in the Christian World.
Okay, there's one Pew Research.
Okay, go ahead, share it.
Okay, here we go. Now this is a very good study. It's it's based on a Pew Research. So it says, what is religious switching? Switching, which is in some cases could be. By the way, this is from Pew. This is Pew Research. Okay. Switching, which in some cases could be described as religious conversion, is defined in this report as a change between the religion in which a person was raised in childhood and their present religious identity. Current rates of switching are based on responses from more than 50,000 adults in question. In what religion, if any, were you raised? And what is your present religion, if any? So basically, they went around and asked people which religion they were and if they changed or not. And here is what they found. They found that US Christians projected to fall between 50% of population if recent trend continues. 50%. So Christianity will become a minority. Here, let me share the screen. Oh, hold on. Where is it? Here, can you see it? Right there? I cannot hear you.
Sorry, I'm here. Sorry. I muted myself.
So are you seeing this?
Yes, I can see it.
U.S. Christians projected to fall between. U.S. Christians projected to fall between 50% of population if recent trend continues. And here's what it was in 1972.
Apostasy in the Christian.
Here's what it is in 2020. A 60% drop. And then they're projecting in 2070 it will be 35% drop.
Oh my. Okay.
19.
That's an avalanche.
45.
That's an avalanche. This is an avalanche. This is an avalanche. Okay, this is an avalanche of apostasy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this gets crazier because it shows there are some studies. Okay, US none will approach majority by 2070 if a recent switching trends continue. So
Yeah, here's your avalanche of apostasy.
so here you can see that percent of Americans who are religiously unaffiliated, rising deflation without limits. In each new generation, a growing share of Christians switch out before they turn 30, while a shrinking shares of nuns switch in. No cap is imposed on switching rates. So these are people that are switching, and it rose from 5% to 30%, and then it's projected that it will gonna raise to 52%. These are people who are switching or becoming atheist or non-religious.
Yes.
Then if you continue, there are more graphs, and here we have in all four main scenarios, religiously unaffiliated Americans are projected to approach or exceed Christians in number by 2070. So before, Christians were the majority, and this study shows that by 2017 Christians will either be at the same number or they will drop, right? So they concocted four scenarios. Scenario number one, they will have steady switching. Movement into and out of Christianity remains stable at recently observed rates. That is, in each new generation, 31% Christians become religiously unaffiliated before they turn 30, and 21% unaffiliated people become Christian. So again, 64% to 46% drop. That's insane. Then you have 30% to 41% unaffiliated. But these are people non-religious that are rising, and these are Christians that are dropping. In this case, in each new generation, a growing share of Christians switch out before they turn 30. But the switching rate is capped with preventive. So basically, these are like different scenarios that can happen.
Yep. So
And
this
it-
is the
and
avalanche
even
of
if-
apostasy.
And here's the funny part: even if no one switches to another religion, and
Yeah.
and no person in America has changed or will change their religion after 2020, even
Yeah.
in that case, Christians are still dropping.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Exactly.
Christianity is clearly dying in America.
It's a dead religion. There's an avalanche of apostasy in Christianity.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So here's another study:
Okay. Yeah.
the rise of religious.
All right. So shall we continue? Yeah. Let's go back.
Yeah.
All
Hold
right.
on. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you guys can read the study. It's a very good study, I think.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's
Should I give you
research.
the
I mean,
link
it can be
of that study?
maybe later after the stream, right? Okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay, let's do that. Right. So anyway, let's continue with this. I don't want to see this person's face any longer than necessary. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you think that his generalization was okay? Wouldn't you be thinking to yourself, what's this lunatic talking about? We're not building bombs in my mosque. Now, are there lots of Christians who don't take Christianity very seriously and so they don't try to follow Jesus? Yes. And there are Christians who take Christianity very seriously and dedicate their lives to following Jesus.
Which is a minority, by the way. And David.
But yeah, so
becoming a
basically,
minority, fast minority.
his committee appeal to emotions fallacy, right? He's using his emotion
that's it.
or like his own experience instead of reason.
Yeah.
I just showed
Exactly.
you a study that clearly shows Christians are dropping out of Christianity like nobody's business. It's like going like this.
Avalanche. Avalanche.
Drop. Hard drop. It's a hard drop.
It's an avalanche of apostasy in the Christian world. Oh my God. Okay, let's continue.
So, and that's what the data says. So what Brother Tate is
exactly.
saying is exactly true. People,
Yes.
Christians are not Christians anymore. Like they're not religious, and that's one of the
They're just
reasons.
Christians in name. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's one of the main reasons they're dropping out. They're stopped going to
Exactly.
churches. They're at home watching like Netflix.
Yep. That's right. Yeah. So let's continue. Right.
Are there lots of Muslims who don't take Islam very seriously and so they don't try to follow Muhammad? Yes. And there are Muslims who take Islam very seriously and dedicate their lives to following Muhammad. Every religion
Oh.
has a spectrum of followers.
How is this relevant to what Andrew Tate is saying anyway?
Yeah,
It's not relevant at all, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Okay,
think
never
the
mind.
point he's trying to make is like Basically, he's saying that I'm seeing that Christians are not, religious, and he's thinking that that's the reason why he, left Christianity. But that's not what he's saying. He's saying that he needs experience. It's clearly seeing a pattern of behavior from Christians, which shows that they don't fear God.
Yes.
If they don't fear God, then
point.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Exactly.
if this is the case, that this is the true religion, you'd see that at least in some cases that they would have like some kind of commitment, and they wouldn't try to change their laws. They wouldn't like,
Right.
they would at least take it seriously to some extent. But
Exactly.
that's not happening. That people are switching out, and
People are avalanche
become
of apostasy, right?
it's become a free for all.
Exactly. It's an avalanche. It's an avalanche. Let's continue.
That's right.
So, talking to the Muslims who are watching, why is it that when you look at any other religion, you point to the people who aren't following it and you say, see, that's the religion. But when we look at Islam, we're only supposed to look at the absolute best Muslims if we want to know about the religion. Why do you cheer when
Again,
people apply
straw man.
ridiculous generalizations to every religion? but
Straw
not
man,
Islam?
straw man, straw man. This is
Yes,
not a
yes,
generalization. This is based on
yes.
statistics.
Yes,
This is based on data. It's based on science,
It's
David.
hard data.
Maybe you've heard of it.
Yes, I don't know whether you heard of science, David. Yeah, I don't know. Were you thinking of science when you were bludgeoning your daddy with a hammer? Maybe he wanted to explore how the brain works, so he had to bludgeon the head first to know how he works.
No, that
Okay, let's
the
continue.
thing is that the reason Muslims oftentimes bring up this point is because that is true,
Yeah.
and this is based on data. Christianity is dropping, and Islam is increasing.
Growing. It is growing. It's increasing. It's going to be the largest religion in the world by 2050, according to Pew Research. This is not my
Inshallah.
data, all right? This is Pew Research. Okay,
Yeah.
this is exactly what Pew Research says. Okay, I mean you can just Google
Inshallah.
it. I don't have to show. Yeah, I don't have to even show it to anyone. Okay. It's an open fact that in 30 years' time, Islam, inshallah, will be the largest religion in the world. It's really that simple. Yeah, so-called avalanche of apostasy in Islam, right? And yet Islam will be the largest religion. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, let's continue. Right.
Yeah.
Is that the only way to make you feel good about your religion? But the Tater's got more. The great webcam guru and Hustler's University professor says that Islam reflects his personal value.
Look at his insults, Hustlers professor and webcam guru. You see, this guy is so lame that he cannot deny what Tate says, so he resorts to ad hominem. Okay, as if being a webcam guru and being a Hustlers professor is a bad thing. I mean, what about you? Okay, you former ex-con convict.
Completely
Beater of
irrelevant.
someone's head with a hammer. Yeah, it's irrelevant. Exactly. It's irrelevant. So
nonsense.
that's the point. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, let's continue.
Values.
Islam very closely reflects my personal beliefs. Through my personal life, I've learned that if you don't have standards and you're not a strong person who's prepared to defend his ideas, you'll be crushed.
Yes.
And we look at most religions in the world today, which are not prepared to defend their ideas. What's happened to them? They're just getting crushed.
Did you catch that? Islam is ready to defend its ideas. Other religions aren't. What could he possibly mean here? How many Christian apologetics books and Christian apologetics ministries and Christian apologetics channels are defending the ideas of Christianity? A bunch.
But Andrew Tate is not talking about apologetics. He's talking about the practice
He's
of
gonna
Muslims.
talk about. He's gonna mention it. Let's carry on.
Okay, let's continue. All right.
Are there Muslims who defend Muslim ideas? Of course there are. Are there Jews who defend Jewish ideas? Of course there are. Are there Hindus who defend Hindu ideas? Of course there are. Are there atheists who defend atheist ideas? Of course there are. So what can he possibly mean here when he suggests that Islam must be true because Islam defends its ideas? Well, as it turns out, he's not talking about defending your ideas with arguments and evidence. He's talking about defending your ideas with violence. He made this much clearer in an interview before he converted to Islam. Watch him explain, before he converted to Islam, how Islam fixes the problems that men are facing.
Islam fixes a lot of the problems that men are currently facing. The problems we're discussing on this show, Islam
It's
fixes
true.
all of them, right?
Islam fixes problems. That's why so many men are packing their bags and moving to Muslim countries, because Islam fixes problems. Wait a minute. That's not what's happening at
wait.
all. Millions of Muslims.
Wait.
Pause.
What is he saying here?
Pause.
Yep.
So
Go ahead.
just because Islam fixes man's problem doesn't mean he's saying that Muslim countries will fix man's problems. Those are two completely separate arguments. Okay, so
Exactly.
he's
Two different
equivocating
things.
between. He is committing the false equivalence fallacy.
Oh.
Again, this
By the
guy,
way,
this
just
guy's
because
supposed to be a philosopher.
just because a Muslim
expert.
country, just because there's a Muslim majority country, there are a lot of Muslims in the country. It doesn't mean that they're practicing Islam. It doesn't mean that they're following Islam better. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Also, like
what
if
is
you
he
look at like at least the countries that does have Sharia law, like countries like the Gulf countries like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, a lot of Muslims
Yes.
do move
Right.
there. They do move there to study religion, You know, like
Exactly.
for example, people go to Medina University or like they go to
Yep.
all these famous universities to learn the deen.
Yeah, Jordan, University of Jordan, University Al Azhar, and so many
Yeah.
universities in the Muslim world, okay, which people move to in the Middle East. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily false. They do move there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I don't know like what point he's trying to make.
I don't know what the logic is here. I mean, I have some, I have some Arab brothers from the Middle East moving. I've met some of them who actually moved to Malaysia to work here and to study here. So
Yeah.
it goes both ways. I mean, if he's saying that nobody's moving to the Muslim world, he's wrong. Okay, there's so many other people who actually move to the Muslim world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just as there are many Muslims who move to the Western world, there are also many Muslims who move to the Muslim world from the West. So
Also,
it
if
doesn't
this
make
is
any
really the
sense.
case, what about Africa? I mean, what about the African Christian majority countries? Why aren't Christians moving
Yes.
there?
Well, why aren't Christians from Africa moving to Western nations? Huh?
No.
Why
Are Christians in the America moving to African
in the West?
countries?
Yeah. Why aren't you, David Wood, moving to Africa? Because they are Muslim, they are Christian nations, right? Christian majority nations there, right? See, it's the thing. Doesn't make, his argument
Or
doesn't make any
moving
sense.
to, why don't they move to Rome?
Probably he would say that if Rome is Catholic, therefore he doesn't believe in Catholicism, but that's not the point, right? Yeah. He's going to say that.
The thing is that clearly what he's saying is a complete misrepresentation of what Brother Andrew Tate is saying, because Brother Andrew Tate is trying to say that Islamic values represent what he believes in. But how is that relevant to him saying nonsense about Muslims are moving to Western countries? How is that relevant?
Yeah, nothing to do.
Just because Muslims are moving to Western countries doesn't mean that Islam doesn't have any values for him.
Yes,
or he doesn't have any good things to say about man.
Exactly. That's the point.
So it's a non-secular fallacy.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. This guy is just being.
Yeah, let's continue.
Okay, let's continue anyway. Yeah.
Muslim men are fleeing Muslim countries and moving to the West because they can't stand living in Muslim countries, despite the fact that Islam supposedly solved all their problems. Oh well.
I haven't fled from my country to the Western world. Have you?
Yep.
Do you have any intention of fleeing Bangladesh to the Western world, the world of civilized and white men?
Nope. If anything, I might actually move to any Muslim country like Malaysia or Indonesia.
Inshallah, yeah. I have zero intention whatsoever to move to America. I have no intention of moving to the West.
And you're an American, by the way, right?
Yes, I'm actually American born. That's the thing. That's the irony. Okay, I even have an American passport. Okay, and I'm not moving to America. So anyway, okay, let's just continue playing this.
Maybe they're coming here to fix all the problems.
If I had to bet on one religion as if I were betting on the stock market for the future, you have to bet on Islam. Because Muslims are intolerant. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully, because if you're tolerant of everything, then you stand for nothing.
What did he mean earlier when he said that Islam is the only religion left in the world? He just told you. Islam is intolerant. Other religions are tolerant. So Islam is the only one that's going to survive. If he's going to pick a religion, he's going with Islam. Tell us about Christians, Tater.
Christians are so tolerant now. You don't believe it. They have gay pastors that I'm not even anti-gay, but if the book says don't have, what do you believe in now? If you're tolerant of everything, you stand for nothing.
This guy really, really needs to do some research. There are gay pastors, and Christians don't kill them, so Christianity.
I was cherry picking.
Yeah, cherry picking, right? Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Christianity is doomed.
Sorry, you want to continue?
No. Yeah, continue, please.
Okay, all right.
That's interesting. Want to see how fast you can expose someone as a hypocrite? Meet America's first openly gay imam. Here's another gay imam helping LGBTQ Muslims in South Africa. Oh, look, it's a gay imam in France. And here's a gay imam in Canada. And another gay.
Yes, about the gay imams. We don't consider them
all
to be
in Western
mainstream.
countries.
Yeah, all in Western countries. None of them in the Muslim world. Okay, none of them in the Muslim world. That was referring to Muslims living in the Muslim world. Okay.
Yeah.
So who cares about these so-called imams, these gay imams, right? Who cares, right? Okay. So anyway, let's just continue.
Gay imam in Australia. You Muslims who are watching, please explain this to me. If someone says to you, there are gay pastors, so Christianity is dead, and there are gay imams.
Yeah,
so Islam is the religion of the future.
David,
how do you not spot the inconsistency?
Pause it.
Okay,
David,
right,
do you
right.
can you please let me explain something? So David, do you really need me to educate you on how logical fallacies work? Like David says, do you need me to educate you on how it works? Because if you really want me to do that, I can do that for you. I will do like a private course.
Please do,
Okay,
please do that for you.
Open invitation to David Wood. Come to my stream. I'll teach you how logical fallacies work. Okay, because you've made bunch of logical fallacies after logical fallacies, and you say that you have studied philosophy. You clearly didn't. You cannot use analogies. You cannot use rational argumentation. You suck ass. And as a matter of fact, you suck ass so bad. Even a child can call out your fallacies. That's how bad your logic is.
How the hell this guy think that he has a doctorate in philosophy? I don't get it. I really don't.
So, David, if you want me to educate you on these matters, on how logical fallacies work, come to my stream. I'll teach you. Yeah.
Let's hope he takes up your invitation, brother. Which I doubt he will, because he's too much of an egoistic bastard to care. Right? Anyway, let's continue.
Consistency. I really want to know how complete, utter, total hypocrisy became the foundation of your religion. But Tate isn't done. Believe it or not, he's about to say something that is absolutely correct.
I can walk through London with a t-shirt saying Jesus is gay and nothing will happen to me. If I did the same thing with the Islamic prophet, I'd be dead before I got to the end of the street.
Boom. Why won't Christians kill you for mocking Jesus? Because Jesus specifically commanded his followers not to kill for him. If there was ever a time when it would have been appropriate to defend Jesus.
Nope, that's not true. That's not true.
He never said
That's not true. No, he never said this.
I already made a bunch of videos on this. Like read Revelation, and Jesus clearly describes in Revelation, and there are verses in Revelation where he clearly describes that he will break people who doesn't follow him like pottery. Yes. Does that sound like peaceful and loving?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound loving to me.
Of course, in the first stage of his mission, yes, he was peaceful. He tried to reconcile with the Romans. But in the second coming, according to Revelations, as you said, he will come here with a fiery sword, and he will rule like a king, and he will crush and break his enemies. These are all in the Revelations. Okay, so the second coming is not going to be pretty for those who oppose Jesus. So anyone who mocks Jesus, anyone who goes against Jesus's rule, Jesus will crush them like how he breaks country, as you said. Exactly.
Also, like did he forget that in the Bible it is mentioned that what happens when people insult and worship other gods? Did you not read Deuteronomy?
Deuteronomy 13.
Yeah.
He doesn't follow Deuteronomy.
Like it seems like it seems like David doesn't only need education on philosophy or logic. He also needs education on Christianity. So David, you should also come to Brother MENJ.
Which actually goes back
and learn.
Which actually goes back to what Andrew Tate earlier says about Christians not following their own religion. He just proves Andrew Tate right. Okay, he just proves exactly what Andrew Tate says about Christians and Christianity. Okay.
I mean, if you look at the Christian history, just look at the history, just read the history. You can clearly see church fathers not only burned people alive for heresy.
Yeah, exactly.
They crucified them. They poured their tongues.
Yes.
Just read about some of the punishment. In regards to blasphemy, even in the UK, a few hundred years ago, they had blasphemy law.
Exactly.
Most of Europe had blasphemy law.
Yeah.
So what's he talking about? So all these people got Christianity wrong. Somehow these like modernist deviants, they got it right.
Yeah, I mean, Christianity these days, basically Christians have become pussies. Okay, they have become cowards. They don't want to defend their own religion anymore. So they're just accommodating. It is again this actually repeats what Andrew Tate said himself said about Christianity, which is that Christians don't follow their own Bible. Okay, they don't want to follow their own Bible because they want to soften their own rules, and in the hopes that more people will come to Christianity, and then they forget about the principles in the Bible. They don't follow their own Bible. So that is why Andrew Tate rejected Christianity and has accepted Islam. It's that simple. Okay. Very that simple. Okay, so anyway, let's continue playing this. Okay, you want to continue?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Jesus with violence, it was when a mob showed up to take him and crucify him, and his followers were ready to fight. What did Jesus say when Peter pulled out a sword and took a swing to protect him? He said, "Put your sword back into its place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword."
That's
and then he goes on to say that if he really wanted to defend himself from the guys, he'd call out the angels.
If you go by this logic, that this one time, he was surrounded by his enemies, right? Yeah. And he told his followers not to fight, as an example of of what Jesus was like. Then we can also take the example of when he tells the Israelites to massacre babies and children, as an example of what Jesus is really like. Exactly. So why is it that you're taking this verse as an example of what Jesus is. I mean,
Yeah,
why
this is
isn't it Jesus?
Leviticus, right?
Yeah.
Leviticus,
Why isn't it the case that in
Leviticus, I don't remember. Leviticus, Leviticus, kill the babies. Leviticus.
also
Retreat?
pull up a Revelation? I can't remember the name of it. There's a verse in Revelation where Jesus clearly says, "I will break them like pottery," or something like that.
I will break them like pottery. I will
Revelation.
break. Let me type this. Revelations. Yeah. Revelations 2, verse 2.
Yeah,
Sorry, chapter 2, verse 27. Let me share it. Okay.
yeah, sure.
This is the one. There you go. Yeah. You see it?
Okay. It's loading.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
All right. So basically, he will see this one. He will rule them with an iron scepter and shatter them like pottery, just as I have received authority from my Father. So
Yeah.
this is what Jesus would do. Okay, and there's another. This ESV. He will rule them with a rod of iron, and as when earthen pots are broken in pieces, even as I myself have received authority from my Father. So yeah.
So
you're right.
if you read the whole passage, so basically Jesus is talking about people to rule in his authority, or like rule in his
Exactly.
kind of like in his name,
Yes.
or something like that. The same way
Exactly.
he ruled, or he had authority from like his name. So if you could pull up
Yes.
the verse and read from the beginning, you will see that what Jesus is talking about is clearly violent in nature. It's clearly telling
Very
people
violent.
that they're going to rule in my kind of like this type of rulings, and when I come back, he also mentions this. When he comes back, he's gonna, and if anyone goes against it, and he gives the example of this one woman who was like adulterer in the Bible, and he
Yeah.
says that she was killed, her babies were killed, I killed her babies and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And saying that, and the same will happen to those who don't obey the law, like the Old Testament
Exactly.
or whatever. So
Exactly.
clearly, this is talking about violence.
Yes.
So clearly, it's justifying violence. So
Exactly.
where is this like loving Jesus that he's talking about?
No loving Jesus at all, especially not on the second coming. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, let's continue with him again.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just continue this.
Didn't need his followers to defend him with violence. But Muhammad ordered his followers to execute people for making fun of him. So Islam must be true, according to Andrew Tate. Here, watch.
That's how much they believe and respect. And I respect people who stick up for what they believe in.
Yeah.
It's not about me believing in it. I respect them because they believe and they will defend. Muslims are the only people who will defend
He
their
says
religion.
he's
They will defend their
respected. He
beliefs. They
doesn't say
refuse to
this
be
is the
mocked.
reason he
They refuse to be
reverted.
insulted.
Right?
He's saying he respects Islam because of it. He didn't say that this is the reason why he reverted.
Yeah, exactly. This is before he became a Muslim. He respects. This is one of the things that triggers his interest in Islam, but this is not the reason why he wants to revert to Islam.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's continue. Yeah.
And I respect that about them.
Did you catch that? Remember earlier when he said that Muslims defend their ideas? We were wondering what he could possibly mean, since lots of other religions and ideologies defend their ideas. In context, we see what he meant. Islam defends its ideas with violence. And in Andrew Tate's mind, this means that it's going to outlast all other religions. And so if he's going to join a religion, he's going to join Islam, because it's the only one that's going to survive feminism and LGBTQ issues and so on. Notice, there's nothing in Andrew Tate's conversion that has anything to do with Muhammad being a true prophet because X, Y, and Z. Tate converted
He
because
didn't
he's
say
worried
anything
about how
about
quickly
why
the
he
world is
converted.
changing.
He didn't say anything of that at all. I mean, there's nothing to do with it at all. Why is he assuming that? Because I mean, if he's a Muslim, it means he definitely believes that the Quran is the word of God, and he believes that the Prophet Muhammad is his messenger. How can he not believe these things and still accept Islam? What is his logic here? His logic doesn't make any sense, right? Does it make any sense to you for someone who claims to be a Muslim and yet doesn't believe in the Prophet and the Quran?
Yeah, so basically he's like trying to completely misrepresent what Andrew Tate is saying. Andrew Tate is at the clip with like Brother Hijab. He's clearly describing like why he left Christianity and what was his problems with Christians, right? He's not describing his like whole journey as to what actually led him to become a Muslim.
Exactly,
right? And
two
like
different things.
Yeah, so and he's describing like his frustration was like what actually led him to this, and we know that his conversion story that he told his friend that he actually went to the mosque and asked
Yeah.
questions. He asked questions.
Yes.
So clearly, this is
Yes.
not the only thing that like led him. This obviously this is a contributing factor, but this is not the
Yeah.
only thing.
Not the only
So
reason.
what David is committing is known as the oversimplified cause fallacy, where you have a situation where you have a bunch of reason for why someone they did something, and you're only taking one reason and making it seem like it's the only reason. When in reality, that's
Exactly.
not the case. So he clearly went there. He clearly asked a question, and once it made sense, he reverted. So what? Like, what's the issue?
Yeah. So exactly. So yeah, he's just jealous of Tate. That's all.
I mean,
Because
do
Tate
you
is
want
not-
me to give you the names of all the Christians that say, "Oh, I saw Jesus in a dream, and that's why I became a Christian"? Why is it that you don't have a problem with that? Oh,
Yeah,
I saw this
exactly.
guy in clouds, in a beards with like beards and whatever. Oh, that means Christianity is true. Why don't you
It's
take those
true.
guys on? What is the problem with that?
That's actually a dumb reason to be a Christian, just because he or she sees someone in the sky. How does no? Because if you look at I think it's 2 Corinthians 11:17. Sorry, 1 Corinthians or 2 Corinthians, I don't remember. Paul says, "For Satan, even Satan, can masquerade as an angel of light." So just because you saw something which looks like an angel, it doesn't mean that it's an angel. It could be Satan disguised as an angel. Okay, this is what Paul says. Okay, in his letters.
Yeah.
So just because someone claims to see something in the sky and therefore he became Christian, that doesn't prove that he saw an angel. He probably saw Satan and converted to Christianity because of that. For all you know. Okay.
Yeah.
So because this is what Paul says. I'm just quoting their books. Okay. So okay. So anyway, let's continue with this.
Yeah.
Changing, and he thinks that Islam is the only thing that can protect him from all the change. So what's actually going on here? Again, what happens when people feel threatened, feel like they're in danger, feel like they're being targeted? They start looking for someone or something that's going to protect them. That's why the tater tots turn to Andrew Tate. But Andrew Tate just did the exact same thing with Islam. He became a Muslim because he thinks that Islam is going to protect him from all the things that are scaring him about the world.
Why does he think
so-
that Andrew Tate needs protection?
So basically, again, like he's misrepresenting like the whole situation. Again, Andrew Tate didn't clearly say that this is the reason why he became a Muslim. He's just saying his frustration with like Christianity. And also, if you want to make this argument, then we can also argue and say that, well, I mean, if this is really the case, because one of the things that Andrew Tate said in interviews clearly is that he knows that certain things are evil. And this is an argument from like the fitra, right? Like, for example, when you see something bad, sometimes and everyone will have a feeling and they will feel that this is bad, this is wrong.
That's right.
And when you see that, that these people are clearly doing something evil, and I don't like this. So if this evil exists, then something good must also exist. And if that's the case, then and Islam is the only religion that's kind of defending this good thing, then clearly it could be argued that this is the case because it's the truth, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, why is it the case that all these other kind of like garbage religions are just embracing these evil things like sodomy, things like things like adultery and whatnot?
That's right.
Why are they normalizing it? Why is it Islam the only thing and Muslims are the only people that are still effectively fighting it? Now, that's not to say Muslims are perfect, but still, in most of Muslim countries, Muslims do oppose these things. And you can even think of like bringing LGBTQ nonsense into like our kind of part of the world, and what will happen.
Man. There's no way that will ever happen in the Muslim world. Okay, you'll probably get lynched before you reach at the end of the street.
Inshallah.
Yeah. Even if you were to write Jesus, the thing about Muslims is that even if you were to write Jesus is gay, and you walk on the streets of KL, for example, or even on the streets of Dhaka, Bangladesh, I don't think you will survive until the end of the street. Okay? Even if it were Jesus, okay. I mean, of course, if you say the prophet's name, you don't have to even say that. You don't have to even know what's the outcome. But even if you put Jesus, or if you put Moses, or you put Abraham, is gay, or something like this.
I mean, if you wear like a t-shirt, if you wear like a t-shirt of like something that insults the prophet, go to a bus, a public bus, any bus. You will not leave that bus.
You
You will
probably
not
be,
really.
you will never leave that bus at the next stop. By the time the next stop arrives, you'll be lynched. Okay, you'll be lynched, and that is the beauty of Islam, because Islam gives girah to you. It
Yeah.
gives you the need to protect and preserve this religion. Very much unlike Christians who are now pussies. Okay, because they are cowards who don't understand their own religion. Okay, and they just want to become liberals, and they just want to say, okay, gay is fine, being liberal is fine, being a lesbian is fine, live and let live, as long as you believe in Jesus. Jesus died for your sins, you are saved. That's it. See, that's the problem with
And
Christianity today.
yeah, and the thing is that, and the thing is that when it comes to liberalism, liberals like the logical destination of liberalism is these things. It's things like sodomy. It's things like
Exactly.
pornography. It's things like
Yes,
child
yes.
pornography. Right? This is completely
yeah.
consistent with like liberal philosophy. So when Christians are seeing this, they're recognizing, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
They're living
Yeah.
it. They're living it.
Yeah.
But their pastors
Yes.
are telling them, no, this is okay. You should embrace it.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
they're
exactly.
really recognizing in their fitra that wait a minute, this doesn't sit right. So they're turning
Doesn't
to
feel
people
right.
like
Doesn't feel right.
people like Jordan Peterson. They're turning to people like Andrew Tate. But
Yes.
it's not satisfying them because the core is not there, and the core
Yes.
is in Islam, and
Yes,
that's the
that's
point.
right. That's right.
And even in
That's why
Christianity,
Andrew
even
Tate
if
this
even
film.
if these things are condemned in Christianity, they clearly cannot follow it, and they're more. I mean, even the Pope said that some sodomy and like LGBTQ is fine. I think there's a quote somewhere. I
Yeah.
think
Yes,
if you can
I remember
find
him
it.
saying this. Yeah, I remember him saying something like this. Yeah. You want to look for it?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay, give me a moment. Okay, I'll give you a moment.
Okay, so check this out. I found something
Alright.
funny.
Okay,
Hold
okay, go ahead and share it. I'll share the screen.
Hold on. Yeah. Vatican scramble after Pope appears to deny existence of hell.
Wow, he doesn't believe in hell anymore. Wow.
And remember,
Okay.
this is not like some random Christian. This is literally their leader. This is
This
like
is the
Catholic.
Pope. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
this is
Pope
the
for the
Pope
Catholics.
himself.
Yeah. He's the Pope, man.
Existence of hell.
Yeah, yeah. So much for Christianity, right? Yeah, avalanche of apostasy in the Christian world because of this.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So, and again, there are more quotes from him like this.
Okay. You want to share another one?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, have you found it?
Yeah. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. This is another one. And
All
it
right.
says, Pope formalizes woman's role, but priesthood stays.
Women's
After
roles.
which, yeah, Pope
Mhm.
Francis has
Okay.
amended the Catholic Church laws so that women may be Bible readers at Mass, because before they couldn't do that. So
Yes.
serve at the altar and distribution.
You know why they
communion.
couldn't do that? Because Paul
Yeah.
told them not to do that. But then now they're not even following the
Ah,
words of Paul.
yeah.
See, this is
So
what
yeah, and
Paul
this is
wrote in the epistles. Yeah, and this is exactly what Andrew Tate is talking about, right?
yeah, this is exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to find another one before we continue?
Here we go.
All right. Go ahead.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Pope Francis. Pope Francis indicates support for same-sex civil unions.
Haha. Okay.
Pope Francis has said that he thinks same-sex couples should be allowed to have civil unions.
Oh wow.
He made the comment,
yes.
which what was to say are his clearest remarks yet. Gay relationships in a documentary directed by MENJ of University. Homosexual people have a right to be in a family, he said in the POV, which premiered.
You think this will be allowed by Muslims? Do you think this will be allowed in the Muslim world? Never.
I mean, look at what happened to Omar Sulaiman when he
Yes.
he didn't even say any of this.
Yes.
All
you
he
say
did
any
is
of
like
this, yeah.
post a few articles,
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
that allowed what was his name? The guy's name I forgot.
I don't remember.
So all he did is go to like some festival somewhere with some gay priests, and look at the
Yes.
controversy it created.
Oh my! It caused a lot of noise. Yeah, a lot of Muslims were outraged. Yeah, a lot of Muslims. Were
completely
outraged. And he had to
outraged.
backtrack and clarify what he meant, right?
Yeah. And here you have the Pope himself saying this.
Yeah.
They are
Yep.
the children of God and have a right to have a family. Nobody should be thrown out or made miserable over it.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah,
What
have
we
gay marriages
have
all
to
you want,
create
Christians.
is what we have to do is to create a civil union law. That way they are legally covered. Yeah. So
Oh my God! Yeah. That just goes to show how. I mean, David should look at this, but I have a feeling he will not, because
And now
he doesn't see
in
this.
Catholicism, Pope is the head, right? He's the head
Yes,
honcho.
he's
He's
the
the one
head
who
of the church.
decides.
He's the head of the church, and he decides what is law. So whenever he says it's law,
Yeah.
so if he says
So,
that gay marriages are allowed, it means that gay marriages are allowed.
yeah. So now I know that I think David is a Protestant, right?
Yeah, he's a Protestant. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, even if you're not a Catholic, and even if you're don't support Catholicism, you can clearly see the problem that Andrew Tate is talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean, you don't have to be some expert. You can
Yeah.
clearly see that what he's talking about is true.
Yes.
If
It's
this
true.
is the case, that
Everything that Tate says is true. Yeah. Yeah.
if this is the case, that your religious tradition, the leader of your religious tradition, is clearly saying something that clearly goes against the Bible. Clearly goes against the Bible. Who, by the way, is supposed to be appointed by God Himself, right?
Exactly.
Or be supported by God Himself. Then you have a problem, my friend. You have a problem. How can a true religion have this kind of representation?
Exactly.
Imagine if at the time of the caliphate, right? At the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, or on Uthman radiallahu anhu, if someone came and said that gay people should be allowed to have civil unions,
You probably lose his head. Okay.
No, they'll be go bungee jumping.
Even if you were to say that today in Malaysia, if you go to the streets and say, "Oh, we support gay marriage," what do you think will happen? You're going to get lynched, okay? Not only will you get booed and sneered at, you will get lynched as well. Okay, so not a good combination. Except for Christians like David Wu, who supports this kind of people, this kind of deviancy, okay? Which the Bible itself condemns this, okay? But he doesn't follow the Bible, does he? Okay, so
all right,
anyway,
okay, let's finish this.
Let's finish this and wrap this up, because it's only a few minutes left.
Yeah.
So the Tater is worried that women are out of control and that the world is degenerating. What's going to protect him? Islam. Did he convert to Islam because it's true? No. Islam, to him, is a means of social control.
Again, he never said this is the reason why he converted.
Just like a young...
Yeah, this is not the reason why he converted. So, okay, let's continue. Let's wrap this up, right?
man who runs the Hustlers University for protection from a scary world. This is the most pathetic conversion story I've ever heard. Islam, can you protect me from women who don't do what I say and from all the gay people? Pathetic. So how is this guy being paraded around the internet as the latest proof that Islam is true? He's being paraded around the internet because Muslims are so desperate to find some sort of confirmation for their religion in the midst of an avalanche of apostasy that they'll cling to anything. They'll cling to a guy who made his fortune by having women shake it in front of webcams for guys who are jerking off in front of their laptops. They'll cling to Andrew Tate, not realizing that all he's going to do is speed up the avalanche. What a religion. This really makes me want to sign up for Hustlers University so I too can learn to be an insecure little control freak who runs to Islam to protect me from girls talking back to me. Well, that's my take on the Tater, but we're not done. Because my friend John McCrae also went through the Tater story.
Oh yeah,
Believe it or
that
not,
clown also
John found
made
some
a
problems.
videos.
Be sure to check it out.
Okay.
Also,
Oh,
he
he changed
uses
his,
like
oh,
this.
he changed his logo. Look at this. He changed his name. X17 Polemics. Look at this.
Ah,
Yeah.
so this is his channel.
Instead, this is his channel. So it's not X17 Apologetics, it's X17 Polemics now. See that? And look at his face. You can see this. Right?
Yeah.
This is his face. He doesn't use the Saitama picture anymore, right? From One Punch Man. He's using his own avatar now. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely his channel. Okay. Someone is probably acting as a proxy for him, but by all means, by all claims and purposes, this is definitely his channel. Okay. This is not anyone's channel. So yeah, I think we are done with the his silly arguments. Okay, so brother, do you want to
actually,
like,
you know what, bro?
he says?
You know what we should do? We should go to Brother Hijab's channel and react to some of the things that Brother Andrew Tate was saying. That way, it becomes clear to people what he's saying and what he's not saying, right?
Yeah, we can
And
do
then
that
maybe
maybe in the next, maybe in a different stream. Okay, maybe in a different stream.
we can do that now. It's about like 10 minutes or something.
I don't think so because it's already 1 hour and 31 minutes. I don't want to extend the time. Yeah. Okay. So that anyway, let's do a part 2. Okay. So this
Maybe
one,
you can just
do a
edit
part
those
2.
clips into the streams to show like what he actually said versus what he didn't say.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Right.
Yeah, sure.
So anyway, yeah. So what's your thoughts on this? So after watching David Wood's take on Andrew Tate's version, okay.
Yeah.
Just to summarize, yeah.
Massive strawman, and if anyone has studied logic, even the basics of it, they will know what a strawman fallacy, a strawman argument fallacy is. And this is clearly a strawman. I mean, like Andrew Tate is not saying half of the things he's like whining about. He's talking about, if you look at the Christian, what do you mean a Christian? What's a Christian? That has nothing to do with why he converted to Islam. So he's like making mountains out of nothing. He didn't even say why he became Muslim.
Yeah, exactly. And if you actually watch Tate's interview or with discussion or whatever you want to call it, dialogue with Adin Rose, the Twitch streamer that I mentioned earlier, he actually gave some good arguments for Islam. And Adin Rose, who's a Jew, actually kind of almost agreed with him. It's just that he didn't show it. But the point here I'm trying to make is that the reasons that David gave regarding Andrew Tate's reversion were not the reasons why Andrew Tate decided to come. It's not at all. Nothing to do with
it could be one of the reasons, because I mean, like, you could still make an argument that if you have a leader,
it's probably like one out of many, but that's not the main reason. But David Wood
like,
is
for
trying to
example,
make it out as though that's the only reason. Okay?
If you have a situation that a religion is from God and you have a representative like the Pope, clearly you wouldn't expect that guy to be corrupted or so, like, say nonsense like he did. But that's exactly what we see. Now, obviously in Islam we don't have that. We don't have like a Pope like figure.
No, we don't have a Pope. We don't have any person in the clergy.
All the people that we have are among the Salaf, and we know how they live their life, right?
Yes,
and that's all we need. But in Christianity, clearly, it's a problem.
There's a huge avalanche of apostasy in Christianity, and it's nothing to do with Islam. Okay.
So
right. So yeah.
So
anyway,
I mean, just to end this, I mean, if this is the case, that Christianity is true, then why is it the case that their leaders are who are supposed to be the most knowledgeable and appointed by God? Why is it the case that they're corrupted? Right. I mean, like, one could make the argument.
Yes, exactly.
Again, that doesn't mean Christianity is false in its entirety, but it just shows one of the reasons why it's probably false.
Yes, that's right. So yeah, so with that, I guess we can conclude this. Thank you for joining this live stream. Inshallah, I'll see you again in a future live stream. If you like my channel, please do not forget to subscribe. Oh, by the way, please do not forget to subscribe to Brother Islamic Calling's channel. His channel is Islamic Calling. Just type Islamic Calling and subscribe to him. Okay, but don't forget to subscribe to me. Okay, and share this video to everyone that you know. so that we can expose this this little turd by the name of David Wood and his jealousy over Andrew Tate's conversion. Frankly, I don't think Andrew Tate will give a fuck about him, but I think Andrew Tate should look into one of his statements in that video where he accuses Andrew Tate of many things, which I think if Andrew Tate were to bring it to court, David Wood is going to be in a lot of legal trouble. Okay, I think he can actually sue. I mean, Andrew Tate can actually sue David Wood for some of the things he says about him. Okay? So with that, I conclude the show. Thank you very much for joining me. Inshallah, I'll see you again in a future video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum.